Today we are in Kingston, Ontario to try out the new Subaru Outback Wilderness.
Alright, on the road with the Subaru Outback Wilderness. I've got about 2 hours of driving before I get to the off-road course. It's a pretty cool new model of Subaru. It's been lifted about a little bit less than an inch, but it's about an inch, like a little bit higher. You got more aggressive tires, like more like off-road tires. Not all out off-road tires, but decent tires for these type of cars. So the Wilderness, the big difference between, like, let's say like this one and the XT Onyx model, this one obviously it's been lifted. It's got more rugged, big plastic all around. You've got protection underneath, skid plates and all that. You've got a different ratio of gearing, so it's more nervous, it's more off-road ready. It's a shorter gear, so it's a little bit more fun to drive when you do like an acceleration or something like that. You've got some fog lights. You've got also matte finish on your hood. This is for the glare when you're doing some off-roading. There's all kind of like little stuff all around this Outback Wilderness. Also, you've got a more rugged roof rack on the top. You can put up to 700 pounds. So it's really ideal to put your tent, and if you want to do some overlanding and all that, this Subaru is really built for that. All around this Subaru, you can notice there's some bronze finish, copper finish details. Those are point of actions all around the car. So you've got in the front, you got some tow hooks you can put in. So if you get in trouble, you got 4 points on the car to help you get out of these situations. And you get also all those little details around the car, on the roof, inside, on the shifter, on the steering wheel and all that. That's like the Wilderness touch with those copper finish. But otherwise, driving the Outback Wilderness feels more, loose, I could say. When you're braking, you can feel the car is leaning in the back, all that. Also, still a CVT. You know me, I'm not a big fan of CVTs, especially right now when we do those country roads with a lot of up and downs. With the CVT transmission, sometimes the cars have a hard time to stay at the same speed. That's something you can notice with CVT equipped cars. But otherwise, we've got some spatial seats also inside. Everything is waterproof, built for the Wilderness, the off-road and all that. It's cool, pretty comfortable seats also. All around the rest, it's an Outback. The main difference about this Wilderness edition, it's more rugged, it's more ready to do some off-roading. It's not a full-out off-road, capable vehicle, I could say. These Wilderness gonna compete against the new Ford Bronco Sport or the Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk. Small SUVs with the off-road orientation, I could say. That's really what's gonna compete against. I think the Outback is a bit bigger than these competitors, but you can feel the way they're targeting. You're able to go down the rough path, but it's not a full-out off-roader like a Jeep or a pickup truck. All right, it's been about 2 hours. I'm in country road so far. Fuel economy wise, I'm doing around 9.3 liters per 100 kilometers. Obviously, because this is the Wilderness edition, it's gonna take a little bit more fuel than the normal Outback version. You have bigger tires, it's lifted, so it's less aerodynamics. You have also a more aggressive gearing ratio, so you can expect it's gonna take a little bit more fuel. But so far, what I'm seeing during my test of today, it's not really drastic. There's not a huge gap between like a normal Outback and the Wilderness edition. All right, finally at the off-road course. So far it's pretty easy, you know, the system works pretty well. I put the Outback Wilderness in the X mode. Here you can change your mode. You got several modes, so we're using snow and dirt. You can see where they're going to put the power. You can see also the inclination of your car. You can also use here your front cameras on these you know, editions. Pretty practical, especially when you want to go over some boulders or other stuff. As you can see, the path is not, it's the right path, you know, for a Subaru. Obviously it's not a hardcore like Jeep Trail, the Rubicon or something like that, but so far it does the job. All right, the off-road course is done. It was pretty impressive, you know, for a car, and it's not a truck with transfer case and locking differential and all that. Super impressive. I've been using the X mode all the way through. When I was in some declination, the hill descent assist was put it on automatically with the X mode. You know, no issues there. Obviously we didn't like push these cars to the limit. We didn't reach the limits of the tires. We didn't reach the limits of the suspension flex and all that. Once again, it's not a Jeep. You know, these cars are really built, you know, to be able to bring you further down the path. So instead of walking all the way to your campsite, you're able to bring your car and have the comfort of your Subaru. But you know, for a car, you know, a lifted wagon, it's probably the best out there. There's nothing to really compete against this thing. I don't have any other off-road wagon in mind other than this one. So if you're not big on SUVs or trucks, this is a really good option. It's fun to drive also. We did a lot of gravel roads after the off-road course. So I put the deep snow and mud. It was really fun to drive in that mode. You know, it keeps the RPM higher. It lets you spin the tires a little bit. It's really fun to drive, and still was pretty impressive. We went into some deep water all the way, you know, a little bit higher than the front license plate. So it's still pretty impressive, you know. Again, it's not a lifted truck, it's a car, but otherwise, you know, pretty impressive. If you like outdooring and overlanding and bring your tent and everything, this is a really, really interesting choice. All right, I'm heading back to my hotel. A lot of driving with the Outback Wilderness today. A lot of country roads, a lot of gravel roads, some off-road. This thing is pretty capable, pretty comfortable also. It's a pretty interesting, car. I could say if you're not into SUVs or trucks, but you still want to have that rugged look and that rugged use, because I don't know, you live in a remote area or you do some camping or other off-roading, mild off-roading. It can be a really interesting choice. The model I'm driving today, it's good for $41,900. I think it's a right price. It's priced well. It's not too expensive, and I think it's a good packaging for the price. So pretty interesting. You've got a wagon, rugged, fuel economy is not terrible like a real off-road truck. So this makes this Wilderness Edition pretty interesting. Let me know in the comments what you think about this Wilderness Edition. Is it good enough for you? It's cool because it's a wagon, or you're just a truck guy and nothing beats a truck for you? Let me know in the comments, and we're gonna see each other on the next review.